long before the first European ship hit the shores of West Africa, before the rise of colonial maps or foreign flags, there stood a kingdom, hidden in the dense rainforests of what is now Nigeria. Its walls were longer than China's Great Wall, and its warriors struck fear into neighboring lands. This was not a primitive people. This was the Kingdom of Benin, an empire of mystery, power, and unimaginable sophistication. Yet today, few know its story. Why? Because its glory was stolen, its treasure scattered, its legacy buried under centuries of silence. The story begins deep in the rainforest, where the Edo people once lived in scattered settlements. Around the 11th century, a legendary figure emerged, Igodomikodo, the first ruler of what would become Benin. But it was not until the 12th century that a revolution happened. The Edo chiefs, known as the Ozamas, found their leader weak and turned to a distant Yoruba prince for salvation. From the city of Ife came Prince Oramiyan, a son of the powerful Oduduwa, founder of the Yoruba people. His father, Eweka, the first true Oba of Benin, blending Yoruba royalty with Edo tradition. Under Eweka and his successors, the city began to transform. Paths became roads, clusters became quarters, shrines were built, and the royal court began to form. This was no longer a village, it was becoming a kingdom. By the 13th century, the Obas of Benin began building something monumental. Massive earthworks, known today as the Wall of Benin, rose from the ground, zigzagging over 16,000 kilometers in total length, longer than the Great Wall of China, taller than most city walls in Europe, and dug entirely by hand. These was not just defensive walls, they were statements of might, urban planning, and sacred geometry. The city of Benin itself was designed in perfect order, avenues stretching for miles, marketplaces arranged like clockwork, and palaces standing tall in the heart of the city. Dutch traders who visited centuries later would write in ill, the city of Benin is larger than Amsterdam and more orderly than any other city in Europe. With strong walls and richer lands, the Obas grew powerful. Among them, none were greater than Oba Iware, who ruled in the mid-14th centuries. Iware was more than a king. He was a visionary, a magician, a warrior. He expanded the empire to its peak, conquering dozens of neighboring tribes and transforming Benin into a regional superpower. He introduced scarifications for Nombo, new regalia for royalty, and broadcasting as a sacred royal craft. Under his rule, the royal guards began crafting the famous Benin Bronze, detailed flags, masks, and sculptures that told the kingdom's story. These bronze weren't mere art, they were visual history books depicting battles, coronations, and daily life at court. Later Obas like Esagir and Ogunwarem continued the legacy, each navigating foreign threats and internal rebellion while keeping Benin independent for centuries. In the 15th century, the Portuguese arrived. They were shocked by what they saw. This was no jungle tribe, but a well-organized empire with a court, bureaucracy, and military elites. Trade began. Pepper, ivory, and slaves went out of Benin. Guns, clothes, and alcohol came into Benin. Benin carefully controlled this trade, refusing missionaries and limiting foreign influences. They even sent ambassadors to Portugal in the 15th century. For 300 years, Benin balanced foreign trade while maintaining its sovereignty. But the 18th century brought a new threat: British imperialism. By the late 19th century, Britain wanted to control Benin's trade, especially its palm oil. When the Oba resisted, they sent an expedition in 1877 under the guise of diplomacy. But the British party was ambushed by Benin soldiers, sparking what they called the punitive expedition. The response was brutal. Thousands of British troops invaded, looted, and burned the sacred city of Benin to the ground. Palaces were torched, shrines destroyed, thousands of sacred bronze and artifacts were stolen, many ending up in museums across Europe. Oba Ogunwarem was captured and exiled to Calabar, where he died in humiliation. The fall of Benin was not just the fall of a kingdom, it was the erasure of an African legacy. For decades, the world forgot Benin. Western historians ignored it. Schools didn't teach it. The bronze sat in glass cases, stripped of context. But today, that is changing. The Benin Bronze are now seen as masterpieces, equal to the art of ancient Greece. Scholars are rewriting histories, showing how Benin rivaled the world's greatest empires. Some countries are even returning stolen bronzes, a long overdue act of restitution. In Nigeria, the descendant of Benin royal family continues to preserve their heritage. The Oba of Benin, though no longer a political ruler, remained a sacred figure, keeper of ancestral memory and culture. The story of Benin is more than a tale of glory and conquest. It is a story of Africa before colonization, of kingdoms with art, diplomacy, governance, and identity. It shatters the mind that Africa had no history before the Europeans came. Benin legacy teaches us that history is not always what it seems, that sometimes the victor writes the story, and sometimes it is up to us to uncover the truth buried beneath the ashes. So next time you see one of those gleaming bronze masks in museums, remember, it is not just a piece of art, it is the stolen souls of a forgotten empire.